You're listening to a special AI-powered training session generated based on my original research and training documents. While the voices you are about to hear are AI-generated, the insights come directly from my verified material.
Welcome to the Epic Zero Show. Today, we are unpacking Module 1.6 Key Challenges in AI 2026.
For years, we worried about bugs, about algorithms. That's not the game anymore. The greatest risks to your project, they're no longer in the code. They're in the power grid and in the courthouse. Success today, true success in this field, it's defined by managing liabilities across three distinct worlds: the technical, the physical, and the legal.
So let's start where it all begins. Section 1, Code-Level Risks. We have to talk about the integrity of the core asset itself. Everything, and I mean everything, is built on this. Now, these AI systems, they're really just mirrors, and they're unforgiving ones. They reflect, and this is the key part, they amplify the biases that are hidden in their training data. Think about a model built to analyze resumes. The goal is objectivity, right? But if you train it on a decade of a company's hiring data, it's going to learn to penalize candidates from underrepresented groups. It has to. It's the same reason early facial recognition systems were notoriously bad at identifying darker skin tones. The machine doesn't create the flaw, it just learns ours perfectly.
So as a leader, your first job is to prevent this. You must ensure your teams are using the tools we have, implementing fairness constraints directly into the model, actively, painstakingly curating diverse datasets, and using sophisticated debiasing techniques both during and after training. These are not suggestions, they are the cost of entry.
And this leads us right to the problem of trust. You see, a complex neural network, it's like having a brilliant employee who gives you the right answer every single time, but can never ever explain their work. That's the black box problem. Now, for a low-stakes task, maybe that's fine. It's a curiosity. But if that task is in medicine or finance, it's an absolutely unacceptable liability.
So, how do we crack open that black box? Well, we have tools. Tools for interpretability. We use things like SHAP values to see which features mattered most for a decision. We use attention visualizations to literally see what part of an image or text the model was looking at. This isn't just an academic exercise. This is how you debug. It's how you build trust. And it's how you fight back against things like hallucinations or adversarial attacks. Technical trust is non-negotiable.
All right, now for Section 2. We're leaving the clean, abstract world of code behind. We're talking about physical world constraints, the unsustainable and frankly brutal cost of scale.
For the longest time, everyone was obsessed with the cost of training a model. Let me be clear, that thinking is dangerously outdated. The real energy monster, the thing that runs 24/7, is inference, the day-to-day operation. A deployed model can easily consume 10 times more energy than it took to train it in the first place. That training budget, that was just the down payment on a very, very expensive mortgage. And all that energy creates heat, a lot of it. And that heat requires cooling. And cooling requires water, staggering amounts of water. By 2027, the projection is 1.2 trillion liters of water a year, just for cooling data centers. And where are we building these centers? In places like Arizona. We are putting our industry in direct competition with cities and farms for a resource that is simply running out. But here's the thing. Even if you have the money for the power and you can find the water, you might not even be able to plug in. In a major hub like Northern Virginia, the waitlist to connect a new data center to the power grid is now over 5 years. The grids in Texas, in California, they are buckling under the strain. This isn't a future problem. It's a bottleneck happening right now. Now, this doesn't mean we just stop, but it does mean your physical footprint is a strategic choice. The old way, just brute force scaling, is hitting a physical wall. The new path is efficiency. You look at these smaller, potent models, like a 5.4, they deliver stunning performance with a tiny fraction of the resources. You look at algorithmic breakthroughs like DeepSeek v3 that are slashing costs. The choice is yours. Performance at any cost, or sustainable power. Your footprint is a choice. Which brings us to our third and final front, Section 3, the legal battleground. This is not about efficiency. This is about your fundamental right to even operate. This is the existential threat.
The lawsuits are not coming, they are here. The New York Times, Getty Images, the Authors Guild, Universal Music Group, the list goes on. They are all suing the creators of the big models, and the core allegation is identical in every single case. You used our unlicensed data to train your product. Suddenly, every piece of media, text, images, music, even code, has become a source of massive legal risk.
So let me ask you a very direct question. As a leader, who pays the bill when the model you deployed infringes on copyright? The simple and frankly terrifying answer is, you might. This is called secondary liability, and it's a risk that you ignore at your own peril.
So you have to build a legal firewall, and here's your playbook. 1. Demand vendor indemnification. Make your model provider take on the liability in your contract. 2. Audit the provenance of every single piece of data you use. Know where it came from. 3. Segregate your use cases. Separate high-risk public-facing content generation from your lower-risk internal tools. And 4. Get specialized IP insurance. You have to manage this proactively. You cannot just hope for the best.
And that's the reality of this job now. It's not one job. The modern AI leader is fighting a three-front war. On one side, technical integrity. On another, physical sustainability. And on the third, legal compliance. Just knowing how to code, that's not nearly enough anymore.
So I'll leave you with this. This is the defining question of your career as a leader in this space. Is the performance gain from that next, bigger model truly worth the environmental and the legal costs? How you answer that question will define your leadership. It will define your company, and it will define our industry.